All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. Really appreciate you being here and taking the time out of your busy schedules to go over policies in the morning. So we're going to go over visitor travel policy today. Walk through some of the items that we're discussing, major points and changes, as well as why we're revisiting our policies and any questions you may have along the way. So with that, I will hand it over to Julia.
Good morning, everyone. Those that were on the Team Travel 101 session have already heard my spiel, but those of you that weren't, just real quick, why are we revisiting our travel policies? So as a whole, I haven't even been here a year, which means everybody else in the business office hasn't even been here a year. So we're all brand new. We're still trying to get our hands around what travel policies had been in the past without reinventing the wheel, but also really looking at campus policies too. Where do we stand compared to campus policies? Where are we more restrictive, less restrictive? Where does it make sense to make changes right now? So Marty-Ann and Adam have done a great job of really diving into that, informing our travel policies. And just a quick note, this is a small piece of all of our business office policies. So with that, there'll be extended 101 sessions and educational sessions for all of you to voluntarily join. But also with that, this is a work in progress. Like, we can adjust our policies as we go, as we grow as a division. There's going to be a lot of flexibility with that. So along the same lines, we're welcoming feedback. We don't want to make your lives more difficult as coaches and staff. So please provide your feedback, ask questions through this. If there's ways that we're able to help you out that maybe we didn't think of because we're not in your shoes, please let us know. So with that, Adam will get into more of the details of these specific policies. But as always, if anybody has any follow-up comments or questions, feel free to reach out to myself or any other member of the business office staff. Go for it, Adam.
Awesome. Thanks, Julia. So some items we'll be going over today. Visitor travel reimbursement. In addition to that, visitor travel reimbursement overview and accommodations. The conditions for getting reimbursed, using the Shorts portal to book visitor travel, and candidate reimbursement. Also be going over local hotel reservations, responsibilities and roles, preferred province hotel vendors, as well as who our corporate sponsors are. And last, we'll be going over official visits, the official visit form in ARMS, and what goes into that form, including entertainment money, dining hall meal swipes, and the hotel reservation agreement. So to give you a quick overview, what is a visitor to Brown? Visitors are those who travel to Brown at the invitation of a Brown employee to the Division of Athletics for the benefit of Brown University. So visitors that are coming to campus should have a business purpose, whether they are a recruit, candidates, consultants, vendors, and other visitors that come to campus with us. In addition, all coaches and staff may not personally fund visitor travel and subsequently seek reimbursement. Again, this is not just an athletics policy, but a university one. Accommodation bookings. Airfare, rental cars, and trains for visitor travel are booked through the Shorts portal. So as we've extended our partnership with Shorts, we can also use that to book visitor travel, and we'll get more into that in a sec. Local hotel reservations are placed directly through our preferred hotel vendors. So we don't use the Shorts portal to book these. We work directly with them using the hotel reservation agreement. Again, something that isn't changing, but something we want to highlight. Reimbursement conditions. So visitors, excluding prospective student athletes to Brown University, may be reimbursed by the university for their travel under the following conditions. Travel expenses must comply with Brown's travel policy. Reimbursements to visitors whose travel expenses do not comply with Brown's travel policy are subject to taxation, and that is a university policy. Travel reimbursements to any foreign nationals must comply with the Department of Homeland Security and IRS regulations. If you have questions about this, there is a link here that drops to a file of all the approved and non-approved visas. And if you have more information about who can be reimbursed as a foreign national and what that process looks like, you can always email foreignnationaltax@brown.edu for more information. In addition, visitor travel reimbursements must be submitted within 30 days of the expense to the business office. So whether it's a candidate and you're submitting their expenses to us, or you're submitting your own receipts in your expense report, please make sure you do so in a timely fashion. Visitors may not be reimbursed for the following: hospitality expenses and business meals. So when I say that, we as Brown employees and our coaches and staff members, when we have a PSA on campus, a candidate, a vendor, whatever the case may be, if we're hosting a business meal with them, we should be paying for the meal, obtaining an itemized receipt, and submitting that for reimbursement. We shouldn't have them do that, as there is a more detailed process that has to be followed, and it's much easier to reimburse our own employees. They also can't be reimbursed for per diem. So something to keep in mind, again, that is a university policy. Again, hammering down about the itemized receipts that you need to obtain for reimbursement. Lastly, prospective student athletes and or their families may be reimbursed by the university for their travel. All visitor travel policy guidelines apply when reimbursing a PSA, and the athletics office must be notified prior to the expense being incurred. Why is that, you might ask? So anybody that's not a Brown employee that we're paying has to register as a supplier through the registration supplier link that many of you are aware of, just as our vendors do. So we submit their receipts in Workday like we would a normal invoice, and that's how we submit reimbursement. And there is a lead time for that. Right now, it's about 2 weeks to process new supplier registration. So if we find out about the expense after the fact, it's just going to delay them getting their reimbursement. Using the Shorts portal to book visitor travel. So again, reiterating that airfare, rental cars, and trains for visitor travel are booked through the Shorts portal. Coaches and staff should use the same tool that they book their individual business and recruiting travel for visitor travel. So the EdUpID booking tool that you use to book all of your recruiting travel and business travel, you can use that to book travel for PSAs and candidates. You just have to make sure at the checkout screen, since they don't have their individual profile in Shorts, that you change your information to their information, including, their legal name, their email address, phone number, etc. So why is it important to book visitor travel through the Shorts portal versus doing it on your own? There are a few reasons, and I'll get into them. First is the ability to direct bill. So the travel card that is on the Shorts account is billed for all of your expenses, excluding hotels, which obviously for local reservations we can do directly, as well as enterprise. All of those that are booked through Shorts are direct billed, so that we don't have to reimburse the candidate. It gets reconciled right away. So it's just an easier process to follow. It also provides visitors that come to campus Shorts generated itineraries. So obviously those on this call who have traveled and use Shorts to book travel, you know that you get a detailed itinerary when you book travel. That same itinerary is generated and provided to them automatically when you provide an email address for them and you submit the trip. So they already have details about confirmation numbers and where they're picking up. their car, their tickets, all of that. It just provides a level of service that we should lean on as we've extended our partnership. It also allows us, the business office, to better identify trends and provide accurate financial reports. So we've touched on this in previous sessions, but we're constantly in communication with Shorts, whether we're troubleshooting issues with the portal itself, whether it's identifying trends of your travels, average prices for all of our rental cars, hotels, airfare, everything. We look at those on a recurring basis to see what makes sense in regards to us making any changes to any of our policies and procedures. And it just allows us to troubleshoot and provide better reporting. And lastly, service and peace of mind. So when you're booking through Shorts, it's not like booking through Expedia or other engines. We have an elevated service that Shorts provides, and the travel card that's on that account guarantees all of the travel that we place. So anytime we're booking a reservation, it guarantees that travel. So outside of cancellations due to extenuating circumstances like weather for flights, your travel is booked, it's confirmed. So just kind of having that peace of mind, but also being able to lean on Shorts and the business office to accommodate your needs and assist in this process, I believe is super helpful for all of you. Does anybody have any questions about using Shorts to book visitor travel?
I'll chime in real quick too. So I know Adam touched on the ability to provide accurate financial reports, but those coaches that are on the call right now that have anything to do with the budget, this also really helps get ahead as you're building your zero-based budget. And we're able to really analyze where your spending has been dependent on where you go. So this is something that is just an additional tool that's going to make the budget process much easier for you and your programs as well.
Great point, Julia. Awesome. On to candidate reimbursement. So candidates for full-time exempt and non-exempt staff positions within the Division of Athletics can be reimbursed for expenses if traveling at least 100 miles each way. So I want to reiterate 100 miles each way, not round trip. I emphasize that because we have run into issues about that. And when you submit candidate reimbursements, so things that are not direct billed through Shorts, which I'll get into in a sec, they have to register as a supplier like I touched on. And when I submit these candidate reimbursements, I submit them to HR and I use the address that they register as in Workday. So there's absolutely no way around this. University HR is holding us strict to this policy. So please make sure that you're aware of that as candidates come to campus. Expenses eligible to be reimbursed: parking. So any parking at a hotel or whatever the case may be. Tolls. So whether they're driving a rental car or a personal car, if they have to pay for tolls, they can be reimbursed for that. Personal vehicle mileage. So again, if they want to drive their personal car versus renting a vehicle, they can do so and be reimbursed. And gas for a rental car. So obviously if they rent a car, they're going to have to pay for gas. So in follow-up this, I have a question. Can candidates be reimbursed for reserving a rental car, airfare, or a train? And feel free to chime in vocally, submit to the chat, whatever. Anyone? I'm not going to move on until someone answers the question. I know it's early in the morning, but let's get.
I know you all know this.
Who's going to be our star this morning?
No.
Yay, thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. As I touched on, these expenses should be direct billed. Coaches and staff should notify the business office of any exceptions to booking these accommodations outside of the shorts portal prior to booking. So if, an interview's and a candidate's coming to campus, and prime example, and before you could even get across these points, they went ahead and booked your own travel immediately. Let us know right away. Obviously, if a situation like that happens, we want to get in front of it and be proactive versus reactive after they come to campus. All right. In addition to that, I've got a couple more questions. Hopefully Rob's not the only one answering here, but thank you for your participation, Rob. I just have a couple of questions about what we've gone over so far. So question number 1, is the shorts portal used to book local hotel reservations? Feel free to chat. You don't have to talk. It's fine if you don't want to talk. You can always.
No.
Justin, thank you. The answer is no. These are directly booked through our local hotels. Candidate is traveling 100 miles round trip for their interview. Can they be reimbursed for travel expenses related to their interview?
No.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Yes, this is, again, not an athletics policy, but a university policy. We have had situations where we've submitted expenses and UHR has denied us because they weren't within the limit. Should candidates pay for meals that take place during an interview themselves?
No.
Jordan, my rock star, again, no.
I'm figuring out the groove here.
Nice. I appreciate it. So yes, again, a Brown coach or staff member must pay for the meal and obtain an itemized receipt. Thank you both for participating. All right, with that said, we're on to local hotel reservations. And we're going to talk about some of the roles and responsibilities for those. So lodging accommodations, again, should be reserved by a Brown coach or staff member at one of our local preferred hotels. In order for the booking to be direct billed, a hotel reservation agreement form should be completed by the coach or staff member. The form is then signed by the business office prior to the visitor arriving. And then once the form is signed, the completed form is sent to the hotel at the time of booking. It is the responsibility of the coach or staff member that booked the hotel to submit the invoice to the athletics business office no more than 2 weeks after the stay. So you should be connecting with the hotel member and the sales member and booking those. It looks like we have a question from Rob. Is that form in ARMS? Rob, this is a great question, and I am going to touch on this later. But we are working with compliance to work that into the form. We've had discussions about this that obviously I think it would be helpful to include the form to make sure that, again, we're getting our contracted rates, because without that form, you're going to pay more than what we receive, probably $40 to $50 a night, maybe more. So it's super important to have that form, in addition to accounts payable not approving any invoices without that form. So if you send one without one, we're going to follow up right away, just because other university departments are also holding us accountable. So there has been talks about dropping that into the form, but also you can be proactive if you don't know who the student host is yet. And I'll get into that in a little bit.
A follow-up question for that. Where is it housed currently?
What's that?
Where is that form housed currently if it's not in ARMS?
So I'll send it up this in a follow-up, but it's online on Brown University's website that you can reference at any time. If you just Google Brown University Hotel Reservation Agreement. The updated form should be there, but again, I'll send this up in a follow-up just so you all have it too.
Thank you.
And in addition to that,
Real quick, Adam, and I know you might touch on this too, so my apologies, but also Rob, great question. So all of this information, the ultimate goal for us is to update our business office website. So all the forms, all the policies, all the procedures can all be found in one place. We're just not quite there yet, but wanted to roll at least this out, but that is the ultimate goal.
awesome. And in addition to sending you all the local hotel reservation form, I'll also drop the link where all of our preferred vendors are that you can reference. I'm obviously about to go through them, but it also includes primary contacts for their account executives or sales managers. So if you're not sure who to contact, we can give you our Brown University reps. So I'll do that in the follow-up. Good questions. All right, on to our preferred Province hotel vendors. So who are our preferred Province hotels? The Dean Hotel, the Hampton Inn and Suites Providence Downtown, Hilton Providence, Hotel Providence, Old Court Bed and Breakfast, and the Omni Providence Hotel, and the Renaissance Providence Hotel. In a follow-up to this, who are our corporate hotel vendors? Can anybody name them off? To give you guys a hint, there are 5. And again, we have talked about this in some divisional meetings. I know some of you are new on this call, but feel free to chat those in, voice them, whichever.
Britt got one, Adam, in the chat.
The Graduate. Awesome. Yes, that is one. There are 4 others.
Is it the Hampton Inn by India Point Park? Or Hilton, or I'm not sure which one it is, but it's by India Point Park.
That is a preferred vendor, but it's not a corporate partner. Good guess.
Is it one of the Marriotts in downtown?
Yes, there are a couple. Can you name one specifically?
I can't. I just know there's a bunch of them down there.
Okay, a soft good guess by Sean.
Oh wait, Adam, is there a Renaissance maybe?
Yep, that was one of our preferred vendors, but it's not a corporate partner. Britt,
Okay.
Courtyard Downtown. Yes, the Courtyard by Marriott is one also. There is another Marriott one, just like Sean mentioned. So there is one more Marriott preferred vendor. Anybody? All right, well, no worries if you can't guess them. I won't keep wasting your time, but Aloft Hotel is a corporate partner. The Hilton Garden Inn, the Graduate, like Britt had pointed to, and the Courtyard Marriott, and the last one, the Marriott Province Downtown. So again, these are corporate partners and with our partnership with Learfield. So again, you can use any of these preferred vendors, but again, we just want you to be aware of our corporate partners as well.
Is it bad that I remember them because they gave us a free lunch?
No, it's absolutely not. I mean, they have to wine and dine us a little bit. So that's why they come to our divisional meetings, because obviously they want us to stay there more than the other preferred vendors. So definitely push you to use them, but again, you can stay anywhere.
Adam, I just want to chime in real quick. So Rob, you said the Hilton Garden Inn, and that's the one that is on India Street. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page, that make sure we give Rob his point.
Okay, nice. Yeah, my apologies. You just said Hilton. I didn't hear the Garden Inn part, and I didn't know the street. So Rob, thank you. You're schooling me. Much appreciated. Awesome. All right, on to official visits, our last section of this 101. So the official visit form that is currently live in ARMS. needs to be completed by a coach a minimum of 7 business days prior to the scheduled start of the visit. Obviously, we know that high school students aren't always the most organized and they don't know exactly when they're coming to campus. So they hold a lot of power and things can be last minute. So we understand that. But if you are submitting a form shorter in that timeline, we just ask that you follow up with the business office in an email just saying that, hey, this is kind of last minute, but there is a form to be completed just so we can prioritize it and understand. When filling out the Brown official visit form, it is required to identify the student host or hosts, plural. The student host's Brown email address needs to be listed on the form, not a personal email. And I'll get into why in just a sec. For general questions about where to find the form in ARMS and how to fill it out, please contact the compliance office. I have had some coaches contact me personally about ARMS. We are not currently live in the official visit form, but hopefully in the next week or so, we'll be in there. Just to kind of delay in that process to be transparent is that we have to communicate with ARMS to actually update our forms. So there's little lead time there and making sure that's correct, and also just working with compliance to work out the details. But this form and these processes are still carrying over from the prior year. So the business office items that are on the official visit form that we can go over. First, entertainment money. A maximum of $40 per day may be provided to cover the entertainment expenses of the host and the prospect. The host may be provided with an additional $20 per day for each additional prospect entertained by them. So if they're hosting more than one PSA, they can obviously provide additional money. Again, this is an Ivy League rule. And if you have any questions about the limits or changes to those, please contact the compliance office, not the business office. We're obviously working with them to make sure information is accurate, but we are not the central point of contact for that. In addition to this, the funds for entertainment money are issued to student athletes via Zelle. So obviously this is a process that's not changing. I know we have a couple new coaches on the call. So we issue Zelle to their Brown email address. So that is why it's super important that it's not a personal email, because the funds cannot be issued to a personal email address. And so we issue the funds and then they get an email notification going in to accept the funds. And obviously if they don't have an account to get registered or do those things. So in addition to this, any change in the student host must be communicated to the business office and compliance office prior to the start of the official visit. So if you know the student host is changing, please let us know as soon as possible. This is important not just for the business office, but for the compliance office too, to make sure that entertainment money is right. Meal swipes are going to the right host. In addition to, there's a questionnaire for student hosts to fill out that compliance issues. So we need to make sure that these are accurate in the form. On to meal swipes. Dining hall meal swipes may be provided to prospective student athletes for meals while they are on campus for an official visit. When you're filling out the form, the quantity of swipes must be identified for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the process how this works, you provide it to us, and then we communicate to dining services via a spreadsheet and report we fill out, and then they add those to the student host's card for you to swipe. While we're on that topic, I just want to reiterate that we've seen many student hosts not use the swipes. So please, if you're requesting those meal swipes, please encourage your student athletes to use those. We're just worried that the PSA may not be getting fed. So we just want to make sure that your students are feeding them when they come to campus, if you're not able to be there yourself. Hotel reservation agreement form. So just like candidates and other visitors that come to campus to stay at our local hotels, the local hotel reservation policy applies to PSAs on official visits. In answering Rob's question earlier, obviously before you submit the official visit form, it's going to require you to identify the student host. And obviously many times you might not know this till, 7 days in advance, maybe less. So we understand that because student schedules can be tricky. But in saying that, we do want to incorporate the hotel reservation agreement form in ARMS. Those details haven't been worked out exactly, but we're not going to hold up that form being submitted. We want you to be able to book that reservation in advance. If you absolutely know the PSA is coming to campus and you don't know the student host, it is fine to submit that to the business office via email, and you can reserve that in advance because obviously we want to make sure that they have a place to stay. Are there any questions about any of these items? I know Jordan's a new coach on the call, but does anybody have any questions? We're obviously a resource as you're filling out the form, but.
Yeah, I got one. So unique situation that we ran into a couple weeks ago. We're recruiting a kid out of Turkey, and we're going to bring her on an official visit, but she didn't have her passport, her visa with her passport to get over here. So it was kind of like a waiting game of us waiting for her to tell us that she got her visa so that she could come over, and she never ended up getting her visa. But how would you like us to communicate? Because I can't do anything. I can't put any paperwork in until I know that she can come over. And then that's definitely going to be within the 7 days that you guys need. So how do you want me to communicate that?
Adam, you want me to take that one?
Sure.
I just think it's a case by case situation. So if you know that, I mean, obviously these are our policies, but not to say that we can't work within them and work with whatever unique situation you all have. So in that circumstance, just make us aware so we can, the sooner we know who you're recruiting, what your plan is to bring them here, the sooner that we can come up with solutions.
Okay. So in that situation, would you like me to just email you and say, hey, this is what we're looking at? I'm not
Sure.
submitting forms yet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then we already have a heads up about it. So we're not blindsided by it, and we can help if there's any unique situations like that. I don't mean to call out women's ice hockey, but we're dealing with a very similar situation as well right now.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
emailing you about that, Julia.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good questions. And obviously, we're not in the loop about all the passport information and, traveling safely. And we know we can give you the resources and all the steps to follow. But in those situations, we don't have all that information right at hand. There are some detailed processes that need to be followed, but we can definitely ensure that we reach out to the right resources to make sure that they can come to campus and we follow the right steps. So great question. Awesome. All right, now that we've covered this section, it's time for a couple more questions and a quiz. Just hang tight with me here. We just want to make sure that you're listening to what we're providing. So with that, we'll go ahead and get into question one. Can I send entertainment money to a student athlete hosting an official visit to a personal email?
No.
Sean.
Love the thumbs down, Britt.
Thank you. Yes. No, Brown issue funds can only be sent to Brown email addresses. Again, that's not just an athletics policy, that is a university one. Question two, can a coach or staff member sign a hotel reservation agreement form? Oh.
No, only Julia or Marty Ann can do it.
Justin, you're my rock star. Yes, sorry, I might have given it
Yeah,
away.
we might have seen that.
You,
I
Adam, you
apologize.
said I was your rock star.
You're all my, anybody who's participated this morning and on the call is
Okay.
rock
All right.
star.
Okay.
So yes, Julia and Marty Ann are designated to sign these forms. And you will see on that form, it says cost center manager. So that is someone that's in the business office. That's Julia and Marty Ann, not a coach. So you fill out the form, you know, you can put in all that information, but you can't sign it. So. Question 3, how soon should I submit the official visit form?
As soon as possible.
Within 30 days.
I like Rob's answer, but I was looking for something a little more specific.
7 days in advance, at least.
Yes, thank you. I want to reiterate 7 business days prior to
Oh.
PSA's arrival. Yes, close. John, we don't need it 30 days in advance.
I'm good. I'm good with 30 days.
I love it. I love it. We will absolutely take it, but it's obviously not required.
I saw the 30 days. I was thinking maybe that the reimbursement is the 30, right? We have 30
Yes,
to do that, yeah.
yes. So again, just kind of reiterating that we know PSAs have a lot of power and will tell you when they're coming campus. So we're obviously going to be lenient on that, and we will continue to do so. We just make sure just to give us a heads up. We obviously get once we'll be on the ARMS form, which we're not right now. We'll get email notifications, and I'll go in and right away and approve those. But just giving us a heads up is nice, so we can be proactive and make sure things get done. Awesome. So with that, does anybody have any questions, concerns about any policy changes that they may have not gotten across or got a chance to ask yet?
Thank you. This was very helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we know that you might not have questions right now, but you will throughout the year, I'm sure. So just the more proactively you can ask us questions, the less reactive our office has to be. So please, anything we can do to help you guys on the front end is really beneficial to, I know, myself as well as Adam and Marty Ann, and now Aaron as well. So thank you all for taking the time today.